Colonel, I implore you. We must destroy that tower.
Sergeant, that tower is one of the oldest and most treasured of all the historically important structures still standing. And I'm not gonna be the son of a bitch responsible for turning 1,000 years of history into dust. The tower stands!
Hello YouTube and hello 9th Age community. This is Charles with Evershade Gaming, and I'm bringing you another 9th Age battle report. This is Siege of the Tower game number 4, and I have the privilege to play Dwarves again. So Dwarves back to back, 2 separate days. Let's take a look at the list. This is quite a bit different than the last Dwarf house I played. It's kind of more block heavy. It's got a lot of dwarves. I think there's over 100 dwarves in this list. So he's got a king, Griffon shield bearers, holdstone, rune of shielding, rune of the forge, and rune of iron. So he's pretty defensive. He's got the holdstone, that's nice. He's got a thane with a great open shield, rune of iron, BSB, standard shielding, kind of like just a basic BSB. Runesmith with 3 runes. Then he's got 23 warriors, 24 graybeards, 10 marksmen, and then 20 deep watch, and 20 kingsguard, and 20 seekers. Block, 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 block. 5 big blocks. I don't know about big blocks, but 5 blocks, and then 2 cannons and an organ gun. The only thing I don't love about this list is I wish he had some runes on those organ guns or those cannons. I don't know if cannons need runes, probably not, but definitely organ guns. So we have hold the ground as our objective, and we're playing the Dawn Assault scenario. I can't really remember if there's anything extra about this. Oh, the extra thing is we have the giant at this point. And if the giant, there's a rune in the middle of the board for the hold the ground scenario, and if the giant's near the rune, you get both sides get +1 to cast spells. Our giants never got close to the runes. So starting on the right, he's got 10 marksmen in the forest, then his 20 seekers, then his 20 graybeards, I want to say, and then his 20 deep watch. It's like it's almost hard to keep track of all these blocks. So many blocks. And then next to the Deep Watch are his Kingsguard, which they're really extremely on the right there. In between them is the Organ Gun, and then his normal warriors are there on the left. And the Kingsguard, he's got his King, and then the Deep Watch, he's got his BSB. And then I don't think that's exactly where his Giant ended up. I might have took that. Actually, I might have started there and it kind of crept out or something like that. And then he's got 1 cannon next to the giant and then 1 cannon on the hill. So, starting with my deployment, I've got a giant on the left. And then in front of the giant are my 20 light infantry with handguns. Next to them are my 22 heavy infantry with halberds and full command. And then I've got my Imperial Guard right there. The big block of 30 with my Prelate and BSB. Next to, or behind the Prelate is my 10 Militia Archers, that is bunkering my Cosmology Wizard. And then next to the Imperial Guard is the Arcane Engine of Foreseeing. So that gives me that Latin reflexes. And then on top of the hill, I have some more light infantry with their crossbows. And then I've got my mortar also on the hill. And then I've got my cannon, in the forest. Unfortunately, the way Dawn Assault worked, I would have rather had the cannon on the other side. But, I couldn't use that corner to deploy. So, and then I got my nice Sun Griffon in front of that mortar. They're going to move in front of that very soon. And then I have my steam tank in the forest. And 5 knights on the right. I want to say I started with the knights. I'm pretty sure I started with the knights and worked my way left. And it was just kind of... Sometimes with Dawn Assault, it's just kind of trying to fit everything in that deployment zone because it can get tight. So I think I ended up dropping quite a bit to go first, and so I have turn 1. Turn 1, I put accurate on my crossbows. My Marshal was just within 6 inches to give him that accurate order, and I moved up a little bit with everything, but not that drastically. If anything, the steam tank probably moved up the most because 4d3 forward towards the Seekers, gonna try and block them up. I cast Ice and Fire at his Organ Gun, and I get really lucky turn 1, and I just smoke it. I just get 5 wounds on that bad boy. Take it off the table. Really awesome. And then somehow, I don't even remember how, I think he tried to stop the first line of fire against the Organ Gun, and he couldn't dispel it. but I'm also able to get the bound spell version off on his Seekers. And this is the first time I actually used the fire side of Ice and Fire, because, you know, they got the ward save, so make them reroll the ward save is pretty good. I only do a few wounds over there, though. But I shoot my crossbows there, too, and do some more wounds, too. So, Dwarves turn 1. And that whole line of Dwarves just comes marching up. The only thing that doesn't move is this Marksman, who don't have range to too much. They might have range to the Knights of Sun Griffon, but that's about it. And then he also moves his Giant up. I was feeling pretty relaxed at this point because I knew he didn't have his organ gun. The only thing that the cans were really going to pick on are they're going to pick on well are the Giant, the Arcane Engine, and the Steam Tank. Although at this point, if I had known I would have destroyed his organ gun turn 1, I think I would have rather just held back, because at this point I almost could have picked off his blocks one by one, just sitting back. But I'm moving forward because it is hold the ground, so I didn't want to lose the objective this game. Unfortunately, I've been having really bad objective games, or like in my tournaments. I feel like. So also one thing you can notice that's missing in this picture is the Giant. The 2 cannons, they basically just picked on that Giant and killed him that one turn. I passed all my leadership tests, so I really wasn't too worried. I moved my heavy infantry to block up his Kingsguard and his warriors, and then I kind of left my Imperial Guard open to get charged by the Deep Watch and the Greybeards. I get to strike first, so I think I do a ton of damage, and it doesn't really worry me too much. I almost wish my Steam Tank didn't move forward as much as it did, because now my Knights of Sun Griffon are blocked. In the magic phase, I put Altered Sight on my light infantry. My favorite spell. I can't stop taking it ever, even though Touch of the Heart is a good spell. I throw Ice and Fire on the Giant, and it's pretty good. I think you get 4 or 5 wounds on the bad boy. Also one of my favorite spells. A little bit sad about the 2.02 hotfix. It's still a good spell, but you know, it was so strong. And then I shoot one of my cannons at this guy and take him off the table. He is dead. Both Giants dead by turn 2. They really didn't get to do much in this game, which is sad because that's one of the funnest things about Siege is the extra Giants. And then with the rest of my shooting, I just kind of pick on the Seekers. It's pretty awesome. I'm down to like 10 or 11 models now, although they are going to charge my Steam Tank soon. And then my light infantry, also they just shoot at the cannon on the hill, and they kill it in 1 round of shooting. It was a really good roll, though. Dwarven holds turn 2. He charges his Kingsguard and his normal unit of warriors and my heavy infantry. I don't think those guys are going to live to see the next day. And then he charges the Seekers into the Steam Tank. And then he didn't really take the bait going through the rune with his 2 blocks, so now it's up to me to have to charge through. In the magic phase, I'm not really recording too many of his runes he got off. Most of the time I didn't really feel like it mattered. In the combat phase, I only do like a couple wounds. He does a couple wounds to me. I lose a ton of heavy infantry, as expected, and they auto-break, and one of the units catches me, and I want to say actually the Kingsguard probably catch me. Yeah. I guess we'll see next version. So US turn 3. I charge my Knights. They've been kind of creeping up on the right-hand side towards the handgunners. It's really the only thing that's going to fight these guys all game. I want to say I took a wound from the stand and shoot instead of the DTs, surprisingly. And then I charged my Imperial Guard into the Deep Watch. I kind of just felt like I had to at this point. I was just sitting in that rune, and I had all these, units, all these dwarf units around me. So I just decided I was just going to go for it. And then I move everything else to kind of like get out of the arc of sight for the Kingsguard. And I even turned my light infantry around to start shooting at the warriors of the Kingsguard. Yeah, unfortunately I was thinking about it later on. I didn't really like what I did there. I should have just backed up instead of going forward. Put Altered Sight on my light infantry, and then I don't get Unity Divergence off on the Imperial Guard. I actually get the Warrior Priest Bound spell, but I just used the card to mark it. I wish I'd got Unity Divergence off because I end up taking a lot more dangerous trains from that wound or from that rune, and it's going to kill more Imperial Guard than what I lose in combat. Actually, in the the Knights combat, I want to say the Lances do really poorly. I think I might do 1 wound. But he breaks on, like, I think he lost by 1 and he broke on his, like, 9 or something like that. That was crazy. I can't run him down, though. And then in this combat, Imperial Guard just go to town. I mean, looks like they kill 13 or 14 or something like that. And then I don't know if he forgot his rule, or if because I remember thinking that he was going to have bodyguard before I went in here. And then, you know, I did a bunch of wounds and he's like, well, they're auto-breaking. And I probably soft cheated him and I didn't tell him that they have bodyguard. Or I don't know. I think that they do have bodyguard. I thought they might have bodyguard king maybe, but I probably just soft cheated him. And he broke and I ran them down, which is huge because it's a D-watch with a BSB, and then I also go into the flank of these guys. So that's a big turn. I can't remember if he just forgot the rule or if I didn't tell him or what happened, but unfortunately, or I don't think because I don't remember if he rolled, because I mean he would have been like at leadership 8 or something like that. No, he probably would have been. No, his king's right there. He would have been leadership 10. Yeah, my bad. The dwarves reform on his turn 3, and then he kind of just turns his blocks around. I was almost kind of surprised. I thought the warriors was going to go after the light infantry. That's what I think I would have done, because I think the Kingsguard would have been enough to handle most of the other things. But I mean, it's not a terrible idea. I mean, obviously if those Imperial Guard are just kind of running around at this point, so it makes some sense, I think. In the combat phase, the Imperial Guard again they just crush those Longbeards. I still got the lightning reflexes up on them, so they're striking first with like hatred, and they're getting battle focus from the BSB. So this is honestly the combination I really was trying to do, and it worked really well. On my turn 4, I couldn't catch them when they ran away on his turn 3, but they didn't really run very far when I charged them again, so I was able to catch them and then reform. And now I look like this. So I'm actually in the forest a little bit, and on the other side of those Seekers. Yeah, I think he rolled really low for his flee again. I think he only went like 2 inches or something like that. So it was an easy charge. And then I also charged the Knights back into the Handgunners. That's we'll see. Probably gonna sit there most of the whole game. Thornhold's turn 4, I put my archers in front of the Kingsguard as chaff, and he charged them. The wizard is now chilling with the crossbowmen. I've got the nicest Sun Griffin. Unfortunately, the Steam Tank has been taking a decent amount of wounds and just not grinding those Seekers down as much as I would have hoped. 11 Seekers with Grey Weapons is still a lot of damage, especially when they get those the extra Strength 5 hits when they die. So they end up killing the Steam Tank by the end of the round. And there's 2 left, which is also just like kind of annoying because it's his turn next. So he's going to be able to chaff up one of my units. But I can't really do anything about that. And then in this combat, I want to say it's a pillow fight. Nobody does any damage at all. He's steadfast because he's got that 1 rank and he's 6 around. The cannon have been picking on the Arcane engine, and in his turn 4, he kills it, which is a little bit scary now, because now I feel like my Imperial Guard's big advantage is actually gone. So now I'm actually like kind of intimidated to put my Imperial Guard into those blocks. Not really the Warriors, but definitely the Imperial Guard, because then we strike Simo, and even if I have, we have like the same amount of attacks, so we both have like hatred. It's kind of rough. My Knights of Sun Griffin going into the Seekers just to finish them off. And then this is what the board looks like. Just kind of popping at, I really should be probably focused on the Kingsguard, because they're still like the biggest threat. I mean, those warriors are, kind of pushovers just with like shields. They're not going to really do that much damage in combat. I put Altered Sight on my handgunners because, man, I love Altered Sight on handgunners, especially against dwarves. Really good, actually. And in the combat phase, I'm able to kill the Seekers no problem, and I don't take any damage from their will be back strikes. So basically, the final turn, I charge my Imperial Guard into the Warriors because I think it's an easier fight and I know I can win it. And then I charge my Knights of Sun Griffon into the King's Guard. The objective is, we gotta hold a rune, and I was hoping that I could just roll kind of well with the Knights of Sun Griffon, do a bunch of damage. I was hoping to get Unity Diversions off on them to give them a 5-up ward save, and none of that really happened, unfortunately. So this is after the first round of combat. There's still 10 dwarves left, and I'm down to 2 Knights of Sun Griffon, and one of the Sun Griffons got like a wound or 2 on it. And then the dwarves that ran away on my turn 6 don't rally on his turn 6, so that's great because I get whole points for them, I want to say, or I guess no, just half points. And then in the rest of the combat on his turn 6, he's just able to kill the last Knights of Sun Griffon. I just couldn't make any saves again. I didn't really roll that well. I mean, it was just like 4s and stuff like that, but 4s and 3s. So I mean, it's not like I'm really doing that much damage turn. I'm only really with a full unit and killing what, 4 dwarves a turn, 4 Kingsguard or something like that. Yeah. So fortunately, I couldn't kill those Kingsguard, and I couldn't get those points, but that's okay. Because in the end, so we tie in the objective, but I squeak out a nice 15-5 victory. I was actually pretty surprised about that. I still had a lot of points in the Imperial Guard because they weren't under 25%. And I still had all my light infantry. I still had, had all my core except the archers. I had all my characters. Yeah, and then he just lost a lot of blocks. And the Kingsguard were under 25% too, because I think they started at like 25 models. So yeah, 15-5 victory for Empire's Assault. I was a little bit surprised about that, but happy to get another win. Probably should have held back, but I kind of wanted to try and really push the Imperial Guard into blocks and really try and see how much damage I could do. And sometimes I was really surprised. Actually, when I casted the bounce spell that gave him a 5-up ward save, I should have put Reels to wound on them, because I probably could have done even more damage to the Deep Watch. And it's all strength 6, so they only get a 6-up, 5-up. But he really wasn't rolling that hot on his saves. So thank you for watching. This has been Charles with Evershade Gaming, and I hope you enjoyed this battle port.